What the haters talking about?
What's up, family? Trigger warning. Some of you are about to be pissed off. Cardi B was recently filming herself singing to her song, her hit song, WAP, when her daughter, Kulture, walked into the room. You see, Cardi's daughter is only 3 years old, and WAP has been considered by many to be one of the most explicitly raunchiest, nastiest, dirtiest songs ever written in the history of civilization. A lot of people hate the song because of the content. Now, y'all know all the arguments. You know, there's a double standard argument, where men get to do this type of stuff all the time and nobody says anything. There's the argument of, well, it's just entertainment, right? It's entertainment. There's the argument of, I'm not responsible for your child. That's your responsibility. And then the flip side of that is, parents can't be everywhere. These artists need to watch their mouth. They need to be held responsible for their lyrical content. There's the argument that it's hypocritical of Cardi B to make such a song for little girls to hear, but don't want her own daughter to listen to him. But then there's the argument that Cardi B makes music for adults. She makes adult music. I would agree that she does make adult music, but that music is for everybody, because when you make music, you're trying to get as many sales as you can. You want as many fans as you can, and those youngsters are listening to that music. From an artist standpoint, fam, I can tell you straight up, yeah, it's hypocritical. It's one of those things that I justified in the same manner that Richard Pryor, the Isley Brothers, and Marvin Gaye, I'm sure, justified when he made Sexual Healing. When the Isley Brothers did Between the Sheets. I'm sure they, like me, were saying, hey, it's music for grown folks. But kids were singing those songs, right? I do feel like everything starts at home. And I believe that I just always had the notion that if I don't ever want to be put in a position where an artist, a rapper, has more influence on my child than I do. I would feel inadequate as a parent. I feel like I did something wrong not if my kid heard the music and was singing the song, but if my child started having irrational behavior and behaving as such, right? I would feel like I did something wrong, because there are parents and just adults, period, who blame every dysfunction that their child have on rap. They bring it all on hip hop. Ain't nobody else's fault. It ain't nothing else. Nothing else's fault. But it's just all rap. It's hip hop's fault. The trip part about that is that when their children do well, it's all their credit. They take all the credit. It's like, the kids do well. Oh yeah, it's me. Look at me. I did this. I worked for I took them to the games, and I paid for this, and I took them to trips, and gave money for this, and helped them study and tutored and all that stuff. They take all the credit. But when their kid falls short, their kid end up a drug addict or something, or out in the streets selling their bodies, or acting a fool, clowning, it's hip hop's fault. So I just always had the mentality that I'm gonna work on my kids. And if something happens, if they fall short, that's gonna be between me and them, not society at large. When these film directors make horror movies, thriller movies, action, rated R movies, they're not letting their 3-year-olds watch those movies. Some may say that that's called responsible parenting. They're making the music, yes, they're making the movies for adults, but they know kids are gonna watch those movies too, and they just take the risk that parents are gonna do what they're supposed to do. Now, we all know every parent ain't gonna do it. We already know that. But parents ultimately have the responsibility of doing that, and society cannot raise your children for you. Bottom line, if you're gonna take all the credit when your child does something good and your child turns out right, you're gonna have to take all of the criticism when they do something bad and they don't turn out right. I know that's a hard pill for a lot of y'all to swallow. Well, I ain't gonna say a lot of y'all, but some of you, I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but it's called self-accountability. Of course, there are some factors out there that weigh heavily on kids, whether or not kids succeed or not or whatever. But ultimately, fam, it all starts at home. And if you bring your child into this world at a social disadvantage, your child is going to catch hell. Whether they listen to Cardi B or John B, they're gonna catch hell. Now, I'm sure the comments are going crazy because people just are either one way or the other way about this. Most of the people that's on my platform don't like Cardi B. So I guess this is one of those videos for the ones out there who say that I just pander to my audience, No, I speak on things from my perspective. And I try to just give y'all the most honest opinions that I can give you, and sometimes, people mostly agree, but other times they don't. And I'm fine with that. But what say you, fam? Is it hypocritical for Cardi B to not want her daughter to listen to WAP while knowing that other children are listening to it? Or are we just overreacting? I suspect I know what you're going to say, but I want to hear you anyway. No more talk.
What the haters talking about?